Hi everyone, welcome to my channel. Today I'm going to be showing you the new stamp set by My Favourite Things called Our Story and a card that I created using the stamp set. So I'm going to jump in and show you the stamp set, which features some really cool characters. It includes a boy, a girl, a cat, a dog, and various elements with regards to reading, so books on a shelf, piled books, a lamp, a vase and mug that you can put onto the little side table. It's got some really nice sentiments, and I think it's going to be a really versatile stamp set. So I can see me using this for a lot of things, but today I'm going to use it to make a Christmas card, and I did also purchase the matching die set. So I've laid out my images that I want to use from the stamp set into my Misty tool, and I'm also going to include some Christmas trees by Simon Says Stamp, as I want to include a Christmas element to this card. So I'm going to stamp this all out using Memento Tuxedo black ink onto Nina Solar White cardstock, as I'm going to be using Copics to colour the images. For the skin tones on the little girl, I'm using E000, E30 and E42, and I'm working from light to dark, and I also use BV01 to add some shading. Then for the hair, I'm using E21, E23 and E49. E49 is the darkest shade, and again I'm working from light to dark to achieve a nice shaded colour. I chose these tones because I feel like they're quite a nice rich colour, and they will work with the rest of the colour scheme that I've currently got planned out for this card. So I'm just kind of playing around with the shading to get it how I want it before I move on to the next colour. Now, as this is going to be a Christmas card, I'm going to use some fairly traditional Christmas colours, so reds and greens, blues, browns, just to keep it all fairly simple. For her little outfit, I am using R32, R24 and R27, and again I work from light to dark, blending that out. I decided to make the chair green, so for this I'm using G12, G14 and G21. I need a darker green in my collection really, it would have made this pop better, but I just kept layering the G14 and the G21 to create some nice tones on this chair. And because I didn't quite have a mid-tone, you can see that I just touched the light marker to the mid-tone and helped that blend out a bit better. Now, I wasn't sure whether I was going to put socks or leave her feet bare, and in the end I decided to do them skin tone. So she's relaxing with her little bare feet on the sofa. Then I will move on to the feet of the chair, which I'm using E21 and E23, and I'll also use these tones for the side table back along with that E49 to create some nice depth of a wooden side table. So once I've done the table, I'm moving on to the cat. I decided to do a little ginger cat using our YR12, YR04 and YR07. I was going to do a black cat because I have two black cats, but as I'm going to be using a dark textured floor for the scene, I wanted the cat to stand out amongst everything else that's going on, so I opted for a cute little ginger cat on this one. I'm then going to move on to the other elements of the card. So for the books, I'm using BG00 and BG02. I'll also use these on the stack of books as well, and I will also use the BG00 on the mug, and then I'm going to use some warm greys and greens on the lamp, I'm then going to use some slightly different shades of green for the tree. I use some more yellowy tones and almost a blue-green as well for the Christmas tree. I do only end up colouring one of them, and I'll save the other one for another project at a later date. Once I've finished with the Copic markers, I'm then using another new purchase that I'm experimenting with at the minute, and that's the Spectrum Noir Sparkle markers, and I got the special holiday set while it was on sale. I'm using the berry red for some tinsel, if you like, in between those sections of the tree, and then I'm using the pine colour to add some sparkle onto that green. And like I did with the Copics, I'm just feathering this up to create some kind of leafy, branchy texture, I guess you can call it. And it's really hard to capture on camera, but these markers do pack quite a sparkle. I usually use Wink of Stella, but I chose to try these out for a change. I'm then going to use all the coordinating dies to cut these out using my Big Shot machine, and then I can start to lay things out, work out where I want things to go, and assemble my card. And I'm just using my Jelly Roll pen here just to fix a tiny mistake that I did while I was colouring. If I go over the lines, I like to just fix that up. I'm then using the new My Favourite Things Craft Collection Solid Stripe 6x6 paper pad, and I'm using this for some wallpaper, and I chose the red kind of stripe again to fit with the Christmas and the colours. And I'm using a piece of wooden wood look cardstock. I've had this for a while, so I can't remember who or where this is from, but I'm going to use that as the floor. And then I was laying things out and working out how I wanted things to look, and it needed a floor, wooden floor, rail, skirting board, whatever you want to call it. So I'm cutting out some white cardstock that will fit the size of this card before I then use the Lawn Fawn border die, and I'm using the dotted one along the edge. Just to give it a bit of texture, and it's not just a piece of plain white card. And I will trim that down a little bit as well to make it a bit thinner because I made it too wide. But I'm just going to die cut that, run it through my machine, and then I can start to put everything together. So once I've got an idea of where I want things to go, I then start to stick everything down, trim everything up, make sure it looks neat. I'm using some double-sided adhesive in my rollers just to add these elements down, and then I'm going to use some Scotch 3mm foam tape for the bits that I want to be dimensional. So as you can see, I kind of change things as I go along, and add where I want things to sit and play around with the location of where I want things to be. But I've generally got an idea before I start the card what I want it to look like, so I was really happy how this came out. I like the colours as well. So yeah, it's just another way to use this stamp set by coordinating with the Christmas tree. You can make it into a Christmas card. And yeah, so I can see me using this stamp set quite a lot for various different things. It'd be great for, you know, Valentine's Day, Mother's Day, Father's Day, birthdays. I think it's going to be used for a lot of things for anybody that loves books and stories. So for the final bit of this card, I'm then going to add the sentiments. I'm adding one on the inside and on the outside this time, which is not something I do very often. So for the one on the front of the card, I am using the one that says "To my favourite bookworm" on some piece of red cardstock, and this is from my local art store that does £140 coloured cardstock, and it is really good quality. So it's just general cardstock, but it's good, really good. And I'm using the Versamark embossing ink and Hero Arts white embossing powder to make this pop off of the red cardstock. I use my trusty heat tool to set this, and some of it doesn't quite stick properly, so there's a couple of odd gaps in the sentiment, so I just use my jelly roll pen just to smooth that out and make it look neater. I'm then going to trim it down so that it fits the width of my card, and I want it to overhang that white border as well, so that it fits the full width of my card. And my card base, I should have said earlier, is 5 by 5 inches. So I'm going to adhere that down with some double-sided sticky tape, and then I'm going to move on to the inside of the card. For the sentiment on the inside of the card, I'm using an old stamp set that I have called Family and Friends by Hero Arts, and I'm just using the "Wishing You a Very Merry Christmas" sentiment and stamping that in black Memento Tuxedo ink. And then to finish off, I'm just adding some white highlights with my jelly roll pen, and then that will finish the card for today. So I hope you like this card. I was really happy with how it came out in the end. I know I'm going to be using this stamp set a lot, so I definitely recommend going out there and adding this one to your collection. But let me know what you think. Leave me a like, a comment, and please subscribe to my channel. I will leave a link in the description box below with my link to my blog, which will include more detailed look at the card and a list of all the products used. So go find me on social media and my blog, and I'll be back next time with another video. Bye!